What you want to start with?
Kevin Hughes. All right, we'll go through the administrative ones. This first one up is Kevin V. Holtz. Parcel RPRPPLP 002103. And this is 2 fourplexes.
Yes. So, on these commercial ones, are you guys using a sales approach or using a income-based approach on these?
Clarify, anything fourplex or smaller, a residential team is appraising. But to answer your question, they are using a sales approach. One of the things that we have started looking at additionally doing is kind of verifying where that's landing using stuff like gross rent multipliers to consider the income approach. When we do the gross rent multipliers, we're taking all of that same sales data we're already using with sales that they have also reported what they're getting per rent to see what are we seeing out there as far as the market rent.
Okay.
And let me clarify what you said there. Fourplex or lower?
Yeah, so duplex, triplex, and fourplex are being handled by our residential team.
Okay.
And then fiveplexes and larger are handled by our commercial.
The other day when we was talking about the fees, we was threeplex and lower was figured one way and fourplex and higher was the other way. So that's kind of,
Is a fourplex considered a commercial property? Where is that break between a residential and a commercial property?
I thought fourplex and above was
I did too.
commercial, and a threeplex. That's why we had the fourplex do a written appeal instead of a in-person appeal.
We can double check, but I'm pretty sure they've been classifying them as residential.
Well, and it would be, the other question is would it be based upon the type of deed that the fourplex was built under? If it was deeded, or was it a fourplex, but each one can be sold individually, or is it a fourplex that is kept in one property? Does that make sense?
If it was a fourplex with 4 different deeds, we'd have 4 different parcels.
Okay. So where this is one parcel number for a fourplex, it would be treated as a single property that could not be broken and sold unless they broke it out, correct?
Right.
Okay, so that would be a commercial property, I'm assuming.
but on that other end, we need to clarify
We do, and we'll
between
get
a
it
threeplex
clarified.
and a fourplex, which direction to go.
Get that clarified.
We talked about that in our fee schedule.
Because as I pulled this parcel up, yeah, it shows a fourplex with,
All right,
yeah,
we'll turn time over to the assessor's fee.
Which parcel are we looking at first?
RPRCHT S008900, correct?
Okay.
All right, on this parcel, we are looking at a fourplex built in 1997. We have it listed as an average quality in an average condition. And our analysis showed that 542,323 did seem to be, while a large increase over last year, did seem to be supported by other sales of fourplexes that we have seen over this past 15-month period of the year.
I'll make sure I'm on the right one here.
I do want to interject that as I'm looking through the parcel, it also does appear that they made some changes, which are likely reflected on that worksheet.
That's what I was just gonna ask, the worksheet. How's
So,
it,
on this one, it does look like, I don't show what changes they made to it.
they
but
come down to 489,228,
Yeah,
which the valuation on the land was the same.
looks
And
like the land stayed the same, and they made an adjustment on the structure itself.
I mean, they brought 60 grand off of it.
Yeah. That's the suggestion.
Yeah. I would reasonable with that.
And with these multi-tenant properties, I think we've seen those certainly increase at a higher percentage than a standard single family.
So you're saying that the commercial properties like this are increasing in value at a higher rate than residential properties?
Yeah, we're seeing duplexes, well, really any multi-family sort of building. The sales prices are increasing at
Well, rental prices
a
are
larger
going up.
rate than.
Yeah.
Because rents are going up.
Rents are going up, yeah. I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. I thought that was carried.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people call us.
With the adjustment, that's in that 15% range.
Yep.
So I'm good with the market.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move on parcel RPRCHT S008900 that we adjust to the assessor's recommendation of $489,228 with the adjustment being made on the improvement.
Have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Parcel RPPLT 002103.
In reviewing this one, the appraisers did not find a similar opportunity to make any corrections. This property actually, what it has is two duplexes on the same parcel. So we have each duplex is being valued as a duplex. He just has two of them on the same parcel of land. So initially, the appellant referred to it when speaking to us as a fourplex, but for the way we look at everything, we consider this two duplexes. And when we look at that, the $454,987 that it was assessed at does appear to be accurate for two duplexes on the same parcel.
What percentage was the other one increase?
The other one was 15%. This one looks like it's 29, if I do my math correctly. If we're getting the same adjustment, 15%,
Yeah.
that would be. 270 and 59.
270 or 370?
270. That's it.
You said two, and it went from 304, so it would go.
Oh, sorry, I was going off the correction.
Yeah.
The corrected amount. The first correction.
Yeah, it'd be the second, it'd be the 304.
Yeah.
One.
349,772. Mr. Chair, on parcel RP PLT 002103, I make a motion that we adjust it 15% to a total of 349,772.
We have a motion, all in favor, say aye.
Off of improvement?
Off of the improvement, yes.
We have a motion now. Everyone in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. The next one is Thomas B. Nelson. It has an appraisal.
This one we're talking about, Carol.
No, this is a different one.
Okay.
This is out. No, it's in. It's inside. Okay.
So this is a 35.
So yeah, and the appraisal is of 720. So it's inside, so the question would be, it's an opinion of value of $470,000 as of, July of 20. So you had 6 months, and I don't know what your growth factor is that you've used.
We used 1.5%, and one of the reasons that we had an issue with using that appraisal is the second structure at the time of appraisal was not complete. By January 1st, that second home had been
So they
complete.
put a second house on the
Yeah,
property.
there's 2 homes on the property.
Okay.
And if you guys.
So
need, I can
470
break
is
them
for the
out.
first home, the first improvement, I should say.
And it was done by January 1st?
Mhm.
Yeah, so if you have 2 properties, so what was the second structure then? It was a house?
Yes, they refer to it as a cottage, but I mean, they're both full.
It's a mother-in-law suite, so it's a full house. So, but that was not done in the, well, but the appraisal,
I believe the appraisal accounted for partial finish in that structure that was under concern.
so did you have value assigned to the cottage?
We do.
How do you assign it in your land data in your sheet? Which one is it under?
On that sheet, it would be likely. let me see what we've got. I don't believe on that sheet it splits it out. I believe it
So
shows you
what-
a lump sum on that property.
Do you have an occupation time of that place?
When it was permitted, and, I mean, it would close if it was done January or if it was done October. Can you find in the appraisal report, it should have value assigned to the primary structure and to the outbuildings.
Not there yet. The cost to construct a mother-in-law suite is $160,000. Per the owner, finished September of 2020.
And that was included in that 470?
I don't see a line item for that on the appraisal.
It shows the
1,800 square feet. Is that-
medians there, and it shows the 460, but they haven't broken out, and it looks like all the value is assigned to
The main unit.
the main primary structure.
Yeah. As is value of site improvements, 23,000, so.
I'm good with the 470 for the house and the lot costs and everything that way, but then what is the assessed value in the cost approach? It's showing 486 in the cost approach, but it's not giving credit then for,
Yeah, it looks like, it doesn't break them out. The cottage, or mother-in-law suite as you referred to, we have that valued at $185,824. And then the main home, we have valued at $350,042 for the, not including the one, just the.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
You said 180 for the cottage?
Yes.
The appraisal says 160 as of
September.
September.
Even if you just held that as for 2 months, I mean September, because you're basically October, November, and December, so 3 months, I mean, you're still talking, okay, even at the 160. The 470, I can't see in this appraisal that they've submitted, is that they haven't broken it down. They're calling the gross living area at 228.52, and they're calling the total assessed cost then per square foot. I mean, it looks like they've assigned in this appraisal, they've assigned the value to the house. They haven't assigned value to the mother-in-law suite.
They show the mother-in-law suite at 1,200 square feet.
But it doesn't look like they,
Yeah, the first floor, mother-in-law suite, non-living area, are they calling the mother-in-law suite for, another basement 1800? Yeah, I'm not seeing where they're including that,
all the 470 value is given to the,
the house, without the suite.
without the suite. So the appraisal at 470, that actually puts the total assessment cost, if we use the appraisal, is actually more than what the assessment. Because I can't see in this appraisal where it says that the, maybe I'm reading this incorrectly.
Just the last line here. The mother-in-law suite will be finished per the owner by the end of September. The subject property is subject to the mother-in-law suite being completed in the workman-like manner. So to me, that kind of says that they are including it. Just that verbiage. And all the comparable cells have mother-in-law suites.
Hold on. So you have an appraisal that was done in July. You're using about a 1.5% growth factor a month. That's 9% on the growth factor, bring it to the January 1 date. If it was 470 when it was submitted then, and we just go off of the appraisal plus a time adjustment factor, that's 512, 300. I don't know any other way to do this without knowing, and I would say that the assessor's office needs to add this to the list going out now that it's done, and making sure that all of these things are correct. I mean, I don't know what else to say other of how it was put together. I mean, Mr. Chairman, I would move on parcel, on parcel number, where'd it go? There it is. Maybe, got it. Oh, there we go. RPR 3853013000, that we make an assignment, or a conditional adjustment, for value to $512,300, and those adjustments be made off of the improvements.
You have a motion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The next one we have is Gene Pedersen. Multiple parcels. On the first parcel, no change from last year.
Parcel number 2.
This is the one ending in 403.
This one ends in 600.
Well, 403, they're together, 403 and 9600.
But the 403
It didn't change.
didn't change at all from last year.
I also show that.
And then the property,
And the property with the actual dwelling on it, we felt the increase was certainly in line with what we have observed in the market. We couldn't find any opportunities for any correction. This one had already been drawn in before last year's assessment.
How many square feet is this?
Upstairs is 864, downstairs has 432 square feet of unfinished courtyard.
I don't. We were seeing market last year, and I know this came to BOE in 2019, and it was adjusted, but this is one of this market is the fastest growing market right now in Bannock County. I don't see how this is outside of,
I don't see it.
I mean, I don't.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I move that we uphold the values on parcel RPR PPOC 4299600 and parcel RPRPC PP 095403.
the motion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. The next is Rudy and Rebecca Falcon with an appraisal.
I think this might be the one I was looking at earlier that had a VA appraisal on it.
Turn time over to you at the assessor's table.
This one we saw a very steep increase in the 2021 assessed value versus the 2020 assessed value. This one was just drawn in for this year. And when we started to analyze this one to try and figure out what the increase was, as far as we can tell, it's a combination of it having been drawn in this year and with additions having been made to the house at probably different points in time. The overall square footage is where our analysis kind of trended to. The total structure is a 3,800 square foot building, and looking at sales of homes that have been added onto as well, it did seem that this did not stand out as having any large opportunities for any corrections there. I know that our appraisers took a look. It was hard to gather hard data on when the different additions were made to the home.
And this is where I'd say so the appraisal that was submitted was the actual costing, but they didn't submit there is a line in there that says subject to completion of repairs referred to on prior page. So there was some call outs because this is a VA house. It's calling up no updates. There's sales, safety rails according to code, drop off side, provide electrical inspection, the current safety photos, subject also in your shop. I understand it's been drawn where this appraisal was done 26th of January of 2021. I would call it as it is, and because there says that there's subject to complete repairs and furrow page, and I'm not seeing the page that's included in here. And if this is a VA house that has something called out on it, I would just leave it to that and say that we probably need to have a look-see on it and see what's going on, because I don't know what else to say.
So total square feet, how many do you have?
3,817, 3,244 of which is finished.
Okay. On this dwelling, it has $2,884, and then the basement at $6,865. Just looked to me like there's some discrepancy.
That's, I'm
Some-
showing the 2884.
They're showing it as above grade because the residential appraisal will show that.
Okay.
They don't count the total gross living. They will go on above grade, and then they'll do it different in their thing.
All right. Well, that's all my question.
Question, and this might be part of it. How many acres does this parcel have?
This parcel sits on 79.5 acres.
So that's why they're doing this when this was appraised. They didn't show the other acres. And this is the other thing that this says. Excess acres is not considered, it's considered waste, and they're not considering it for the value of this appraisal. So as what they're saying in their appraisal is this is the house, and they probably assessed it on a because it says supplemental information, also sells comparison, and then it came down another cost purchase considered, but is generally not used. This is meaningful, this lack of relevant market data, cost purchase not applicable in this thing, and then it said another one, and it just literally says that the excess acreage is considered waste.
So we're charging them for the extra credit, for the extra acreage, and the appraisal was not.
Yes, is what it appears to be done.
We're at 79 acres, 79.5.
What did they give a land? What was your land that you put in?
Our land value was 68,461.
Okay, where did they put the land value in here? They made no adjustment for the land.
Well, if you take the 221,500 plus the 68,461, you come up with 289,961.
Where's the 68,000?
I'm just saying that's what we
Oh, that's our extra
said for
land.
the land. It's total.
That's good done. Yeah. So, yeah, so your appraisal is what? How much is the land value? 68?
68,461
461.
plus 221,500. 289,961.
I'd call it, Mr. Chairman, I would move that on parcel RPR 44710030002 that we adjust it to 289,931, with the adjustment being made off of the improvements to reflect the cost of the value of the appraisal plus the land value.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Okay. Looks like I skipped over the Anthony. That's going down my list. Harold and Rhonda Anthony.
Two parcels.
Okay. When you're ready,
Yeah, that's
Jason.
the final. Okay. Did this one, just a question, did this one have a ag exemption at one point and then drop off?
That's what I'm looking at right now.
Because that was, just to cut to the root of the matter, that's actually what as I look at this, is you show the land values of the parcels around, and it says it's used for gray and hazing and rents, and the parcels around it in the same size appear to be, have an ag exemption on it, and then this one doesn't appear to have an ag exemption on it.
If we can get this parcel to actually pull up, we can answer that. Yeah, it does appear that that's what happened. I can confirm that here in just a minute. It does look like this year, the ag application was received and denied.
I mean, I know it's 2.75 acres, but there's two parcels that are in contiguity, and we have, in the past year's practice, if it was in contiguous, it's been applied across minus the first acre for the home site, right?
Yeah, one of the things that happened this year is we sent out a lot of, applications saying you need to reapply. And depending on that information received, that's how the determination was made. On this one, it's stating that the water main line is on the south property line and they're currently not growing anything. They plan to fence and have steers to raise in the future. And so they made the determination that they were not going to approve it for the ag exemption this year.
Well, but is it being, because in this letter they're saying they're grazing it and cutting it. Said they're cutting hay on it.
And grazing.
And grazing. And so that's what I say is if they're saying house on the east side of Marsh Creek with property road, they're used for hay or grazing.
So it sounds like there may be a discrepancy from what the appellant told us and what the appellant put in the appeal.
And maybe not understanding what they're doing. I mean,
yeah, that was the increase in value on this was because it was taken off of that.
I think this is one that we just send back and
Have
get a
some-
clarification. I mean, I think that there may be some misunderstandings in the communication that's gone on. And if there's an opportunity to clarify that before making a decision, I think it is.
yeah, if you guys could, reach out. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, it moved out of ag into the category 12.
Of rural residential, which then it falls under, and like I said, I don't see a problem with it, but knowing that
And actually, I can offer one more update in looking through our call log. It shows that earlier this month, they said that they were pasturing 2 cows next month that are currently at the neighbor's house. They plan to sell hay to the neighbors in the future. And all of her neighbors north of her are on ag, and she was not, which prompted the question. And the last discussion was that they went out and inspected the land and they said there was no current ag activity. That is why they at least upheld their decision on taking it off of that. And it shows that it was inspected on June 11th. This year, that we had appraisers go out.
if they're not having active ag, then you can't have the ag exemption, and that's where it comes back to, is if there's no, I mean, I know that sucks, but if you're not doing it, you can't get the exemption. You have to have actively,
Is there a statute that says
It's usually in the fiscal, it's in the fiscal year,
Anytime during the year?
in the assessed year.
Yeah, I believe the administrative rules talk about if there was any, it needs to be a for-profit enterprise. They don't have to make a profit, they just have to be going for it, but it doesn't have to be all year long. We certainly know there's seasonal ag use, and it's entitled to that exemption.
Like they
for
said,
one year.
we move the cows off for a while, and then we move the cows back on in a month or two. A lot of people out there moving from pasture to pasture.
That's, and if they're, and if they're not understanding that it doesn't have to be all the time, are you using it for ag purposes? Well, no, I'm not using it right now. Well, but the problem is because knowing these parcels, like Commissioner Moser said, most of the time what they're doing is they will run cattle down those back and forth throughout the year, because you're only gonna munch, you only got grass on them for, depending on how many cattle you have, a couple weeks at a time or a month or two. Yeah, I mean, if you only have a cow and a calf, you might be able to do it longer, but you might only be doing that, and that's if they're not understanding that you don't have to have cattle on it 24/7, 365 days a year. You just have to have some, that's what it states.
And we can look at it.
During last year, right? If there's any ag activity on it last year, then it qualifies and.
Yeah, if they did it during the assessed period, they have to have ag during that period. And I don't think people, okay, maybe you're.
So is that my,
Yeah.
is that my motion then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I make a motion, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we send parcels, there we go. RPR 405701490 and parcel RPR 40570112000 back to the assessor for a follow-up conversation on appropriate ag use during the prior year.
Have a motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. Okay. The next one. Action. And I'm not even trying that last name.
Yeah, looks okay.
Has had?
Looks okay.
Kazminazad. Kazminazad.
Yep.
I'm probably leaving out a vowel or five, but we'll go from there.
Okay, it has an appraisal.
Appraisal from September. See if I'm gonna have to, nope, I'll have to.
The assessor's table, any questions, concerns, comments?
And from our side, when we reviewed this one, we didn't find any opportunities for correction to the intelligence file.
Okay.
I would say following the appraisal and the time adjustment, 1.5 for 3 months, because that's what it appears to be, September, October, November, December, that'd give us a value of $341,250. And that would follow on keeping us in uniform with what we've been doing.
Okay, let's put that.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that on parcel RPR PHLS 002900 that we adjust the value to $341,250 with the adjustment being made off the improvements.
A motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, passes unanimously. That's the administrative side.
You got all those?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, next, very good.
And 3 o'clock. Bart Armstrong? Yep. First, and then Erica Dye? Okay. All right.
No.
This is the opening statement for this session. We recognize and support your right to come register your concern and appeal the appraisals that are given. Our duty is to hear both sides and make a determination based upon the facts as we see them. The assessors must assess value at market value on all properties in Bannock County. The appeal process gives a property owner the chance to appeal said value before this board. If for some reason the decision rendered does not meet with your satisfaction, we encourage you to file an appeal with the State Board of Tax Appeals. Another option available to you is relief through the district courts. It is imperative that you focus on property valuation, not on protesting your taxes, which will help the process to move at a faster pace. We will now ask the Deputy Clerk, Nancy Allen, to swear those who are going to participate in.
Everyone here can see a copy. Stand and raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that any testimony you're about to give shall be the truth and whole truth and nothing but the truth?
So the process will be that we're going to give you 3 minutes, and then we can ask some questions. Then we're going to allow the appraiser's table 3 minutes, or the assessor's table 3 minutes, and then we'll ask some questions. You will have 2 more minutes to talk about what is said by the appraiser's table, and then the Board of Equalization will discuss the matter and make a decision. So please state your full name and your 3 minutes begin.
Barton C. Armstrong, 9021 Gibson Jack. I filed an appeal with, anyway, I met with you guys, or you guys gave me a value in 219, and that value is in my statements here. I think on this house it was 485,261 that you came down to, and the assessor's office wanted 527 for this. So I took this and 2 other properties to the state of appeal, and I won on all 3 of those. 2 on the duplexes and 1 on this house.
Question, just for point of information clarification, what date did you go to the state, sir?
It was the 20th of June of, I think, 2020.
All right, thank you.
It took so long.
But
because
for
of a couple-
what tax year was it for?
It was for 19 and 20. So when I went to the state, I mean, you have your paper here that shows, well, Jeff wasn't there, but you guys, you 2 and Brown was here. So anyway, so when I went to the state, we agreed to 457,000. So when I got my taxes, they were 459,460. I called the assessor's office and I says, you know, we agreed to 457. We agreed to 140 on the duplexes. The duplexes are at 140, but my house is at 457. She says, well, sometimes the computer don't put the right numbers in. That's the whole problem here. You don't take a computer to figure out what a value is. I've done this a long time, and I've did tons of corporate homes for corporations, of foreclosures and everything. And you compare apples to apples. This computer system doesn't compare anything to anything. I don't know what these guys are using for to create this value other than computer spitting it out. Okay, let's take my comps that I had my boy pull up. So we have a number 1 comp. It's 4,500 square feet, and it was sold for 559. I'm going to go through these really fast, just because you guys I have time, things I got to do, you do too. Number 2 comp is.
I'll just tell you that we don't have those comps in our packet.
But you have
you
have copies of these. I gave you every one of these. Every one of you guys have these 3 comps I provided you.
No, we don't.
Yes, you do. I turned in 5 sets of them.
I can tell you, no, we don't. They're not in our packet.
Somebody is wrong somewhere. Somebody is not doing their job.
All right, hold on 1 second. Just calm down. Let's start working through it.
I turned these in last week, so everybody here would have copies. I can throw these up there for you if you want. I brought them into your office
Okay,
and left them.
okay, thank you. Okay, okay. So we have 2 options. You can tell us what's there, or we can schedule you for another day because I do not have them in my packet. So I'll give you that choice now.
I can give you these here, leave you all this stuff, I have copies of everything, if you want. You guys can make a determination, you can get back with me. You get paid to sit here, so do you, I don't. Understand?
Be careful. Be
No.
careful where you're going.
No, all I'm
I
saying,
just offered you two choices. You can either
I can provide these to you,
provide them to us,
right.
we can make a decision at a later time, because
That's
they
fine.
are not in the packet. But to be fair, we have to look at them, they have to look at them.
Okay, let's do this. I'm gonna give, you must not have anything I gave you then. That I brought
we
in.
have, and this is unusual because most of these, we
Yeah.
receive all of these packets, everyone that we've had so far today, we have had all of the information that's there.
Really?
If they
So-
came in on Thursday, that
Okay.
was
If
prior
it
to
came
the
in,
deadline.
and that's, we're pretty sticky about this, and so,
Yeah,
If they did not meet the 3-day deadline, they are not in the packet.
they're in there. They made the 3-day deadline.
Did you bring them in on Thursday of last week?
I brought them on Thursday AM, yeah, 9 o'clock AM.
That's why they're not in for Thursday, with the deadline had to be in before Thursday.
It had to be at 5 o'clock on
Wednesday.
Wednesday to be part of our packet.
You have nothing about it.
so, I'm asking for the legal advice, because you went to the Board of Tax Appeals, the State Board of Tax Appeals, and I think there's
Correct,
some,
on 3 properties.
I think there's some administrative rules about when a property may be adjusted again
After 2 years.
after 2 years.
This is a 2021.
So, if you were in 2020, when you went to the State Board of Tax Appeals, you went in 20, or did you go in 19?
No, it was for 2019 and 2020. We're into 221, and that's what this assessment is.
So,
there's
Correct.
no- it should
so
still
if you
be
went for
evaluated.
tax year 2020 or tax year 2019, that's what I'm asking.
That's the 2 years it was for.
Okay, so
It just took so long to do it.
you went to the board for 2019, and then you went to the board for 2020 as well.
No,
remedy was
no,
given for
I
2019?
went for 2019, but the assessment stays for 2 years.
Yes. So it would go for 2019
And
and
2020,
2020.
correct.
Okay. Then that rule would not apply.
No.
Okay.
Do you want me to give you all this stuff? Ernie?
Well, if you turned it in and it did not meet the deadline, we can't accept it.
You can't accept this stuff?
Correct.
If it was in after the deadline.
They haven't given me anything to show me what they use for comparables.
Okay.
Nobody provided me anything. You understand that, don't you?
Yes, yeah.
So anyway, here, let's get going here. I've taken and went through 3 different houses. The first one, 559, it was 4,500 square feet. Comp 2, 4976. The third comp, 5251 square feet for a price of 535. You have jumped my taxes to fight on this assessment this year, 574, 486.
So point of information, your taxes or your assessment?
The assessment,
Okay,
sorry,
thank you.
Jeff. So, what I basically, and I've included this letter that I had for 2019 when I went to the state. This house is 30 years old. Every one of these houses are completely rebuilt, brand new. My house is 30 years old. It needs roof, it needs siding, it needs windows. It also needs interior work. It's functionally obsolescent is what it is. So you cannot compare. These guys have got me at a higher price than all these, and I need $200,000 to put into my house just to bring it up to standards. So, and that's what I went to the state for, you guys, in 19. And we weren't a long ways off because Brown and you two guys, that Jeff and Ernie, you went up to, dropped it to 485. But I wanted to make a point with the state that we got to compare apples to apples here. And we're not doing that. And that's the sad situation. So anyway, you guys have any questions for me, I'll let you go ahead and ask them. I'll leave you this stuff.
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and turn the time over to the assessor. Thank you.
Thank you. So, in reviewing this home, we do show it built in 1991. We showed an average condition for its age. We're showing the total above grade square footage at 3,160 square feet, and then we're showing 1,107 square feet of finished basement. When we looked at other two-story homes in the area, when we did our sales analysis, we took a look at everything that sold that was a similar age and a similar condition when we conducted our sales analysis. When we reviewed this file this month, when the appellant called in, we did not find any opportunities for correction to the details of the property. All of our information leads us to believe that we did assess it equitably, and our recommendation is that we would stay with that assessed value of the 574, 486.
Question?
Do you have any subject properties you used to do this? I have never seen anything.
And all questions need to be
Yeah,
directed.
I'm sorry. I was wondering if I received anything, was supposed to receive anything from them because of this hearing.
Darren,
Go ahead.
I don't have any comparables received from the assessor's table on this property.
This is the parcel that was that initial deadline, and we did not get a chance to prepare a full packet for this parcel.
See, so we didn't let them put anything in either.
So, what percentage did you put in? 15? Okay. You figure that.
I'm looking at it right now.
528, 379.
$528,379.
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we would adjust this property value to parcel number R401-301-7200 to the amount of $528,379 to be adjusted off of the improvements.
We have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we adjusted it down to 528,379. Let's see, well, we've looked at it in the county and it's kind of been adjusted that. If you're not happy with that, you know the process.
I know the process, I'll be there.
All right,
Any
thank you.
questions?
Nope.
Thank you.
All right. Ms. Dye.
You want me to start?
State your full name and your 3 minutes begin.
My name is Erica Dye, and as I was sitting here, I realized that I had turned my paperwork in on Thursday also, so you don't have it, my packet either, I'm assuming. I'm here because we believe that we should have the ag exemption. We have more than 5 acres, and we earned more than $1,000 from cattle sales. Those are the requirements. For
Point
the-
of clarification,
Yes,
Mr. Chairman. You had agricultural activity during the timeline of October 2019 to January 1st, 2021. You had something going on agriculturally based
right,
inside of that.
right, and before that.
Okay, that was just my point of clarification.
Okay. And since those are the requirements, to have more than $1,000 and we'll have more than 5 acres and we meet those requirements, we were thinking that we should have the ag exemption.
Point of clarification. How many acres do you have?
26.
Thank you.
And the amount we made was $1,600.
Mr. Chairman, additional point of clarification.
Yes.
Do you have improved sprinkler water, or is it used as dry land graze?
Dry land.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
The assessor's office?
We don't have any questions.
We'll turn 3 minutes over to you.
Thank you. From the record that we have on this file, it does look like there was an ag application that was received in March. I don't have the application in front of me. I do show that it was denied. I don't have the detail as to why it was denied. From what the appellant has said, it certainly sounds like with what you guys discussed earlier, that it may need to be reclassified on that land, but I would leave that decision.
Ag is listed at $75 or $78 a acre.
Dry grade, I think, is 85.
85 this year. And you have 26 acres total, including your home site.
Yes, sir.
So it should be 25 acres, so 21.25 for 25 acres. Is what it should be. Is what the assessed value.
Is that $21.25 or?
No, that's
$2,125
$2,125 for 25 acres at
Okay.
$85 an acre. And you minus out the first acre is your home site value. That's your, I'm assuming your house is built on that?
Yes.
And you have your well and your septic and all that fun stuff. That's where all that value is given.
Okay.
And then the other 25 acres would be given then your
Okay.
whatever the dry land grace. That's why I asked that question if you have a center pivot. You really don't want a center pivot on there,
I don't.
please? Okay. So I was asking dry land grace.
Okay.
And
Yes.
so,
Well, this is another one that I think we send back to the assessor's office. Get a clarification on the property, the land. Is it agricultural? You know, are we classifying it the proper way? I don't know what the other two members of the board think, but I don't wanna make a judgment here, without them reevaluating, find out why you was denied, because it sounds like you shouldn't have been,
Okay.
in our opinion. But,
Do you want me to make a motion?
yes, please.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that on parcel RPR 401-503-2003, we return the file back to the assessor's office to reevaluate the ag, the status of the ag, or the ag, status of the property in regards to agriculture use.
I would ask for friendly amendment that they return and report prior to the closing of BOE.
With that friendly amendment accepted.
Okay, we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And that was your only concern on
Correct.
not on the house or anything, but
And then does someone notify us?
we will.
Um,
I'm not gonna ask you to come back.
No, I would ask that if you guys have the ability to maybe have this conversation now, so face to face, it would probably be the best if we could. Or, you know, you guys, office, whoever's over there.
I can take her back over and we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
I will do that right.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
I can do the numbers for the rough grays, but it might not even be dry land grays. It might just be garbage land. Or it might be, with all.
Okay, with that being said, we are at recess till 4. She withdrew, sorry.
That's Gil, Ron Gil is still, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
And who was
there's
the other
nobody
one?
That's not on the
It's not on our list.
docket. This is your ag exemption. When's this on?
It's on yours, huh?
Oh, it's here. Cool.
Yeah, she's not on our agenda at all.
Okay.
We'll be at